with MOTO.
Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We're in New Zealand's North Island town of Wanganui. The weather could only be described as biblical, but it's a good day nonetheless because we've got the new Suzuki V-Strom 800DE. This is billed as the most off-road capable V-Strom yet. Possibly not as off-road focused as heavy hitters like the Yamaha Tenere 700 and KTM 890 Adventure, though we'll see. But certainly in line with things like Honda's new XL750 Transalp. One of the most significant things about the new 800DE is it signals a move away from Suzuki's long-running V2 platform. We now have a new parallel twin engine making 62 kilowatts and 78 Newton meters. I'm told that the V in V-Strom stands for versatile, or so I'm told. What makes it the most off-road focused V-Strom yet? Well, we've got a 21-inch front hoop, wire spoke setup, long travel Showa suspension, fully adjustable at the front end with 220 millimeters of travel. We've got some dual sport tyres and a reasonable wet weight of 230 kilograms. So this bike launches in Australia in July from 18,590, but we're getting an early taste today in New Zealand. So come along for a wet but surely entertaining spin on the new V-Strom 800DE. Rock and roll.
You can see those blue and white ripple strips there. One of the interesting things about Wanganui where we are is it's home to one of the last true road races. It's called the Cemetery Circuit for obvious reasons. While we're just getting out of town towards some of the dirt stuff, let's just quickly run over some of the features this bike gets and possibly more importantly, some of the things it doesn't get. So we do have some new stuff for this 800DE that you don't get elsewhere. It's a familiar 5-inch TFT screen, but we have a gravel mode which allows for some rear wheel slip. And we can also switch off the rear ABS completely to lock up the rear end in the dirt, which will surely be usable today. The styling is pretty familiar. It's a V-Strom look. We've got the iconic beak, but it's been modernised. We have a 3-way adjustable screen, although it can't be adjusted on the fly. You have to undo some screws. And heaps of luggage and tie down points. So as a touring bike, it would surely be set up for some big days. However, heated grips have to be optioned for and you cannot get cruise control. It's not standard and you can't get it as an option. So I think those things are worth noting. I am happy to see that we've got an up-down quick shifter as standard. That's pretty cool. Feels pretty smooth in the 1 or 2 kilometers I've done so far. It'll be interesting to see how it behaves up in the revs a little bit. Bit of a raspy exhaust, which is cool because parallel twins aren't really known for their audio, though this one does have a 270-degree crank, so it's got a little bit of rasp about it. I also should point out we've got 21-inch front, 17-inch rear wire-spoked wheels with Dunlop Trail Max dual sport tyres. However, those are tubed tyres. They're not tubeless tyres, so something to consider if you're prone to punctures out in the bush. But yeah, that's some of the slightly negative stuff out of the way. And I want to give this bike a chance to really prove itself to me in some pretty trying conditions because I've always loved V-Stroms. Sort of no frills adventure bike riding, but at least with the previous V2 models, highly dependable and tremendously capable in a lot of ways. You can see the grid markings here on the Cemetery Circuit. It's pretty cool. I'll take third. At a bit of speed now and the V-Strom feels like it's opened up a bit. It's a lovely comfortable seat. and the ergos feel just right for a touring motorcycle with some off-road cred. This little windscreen's not doing too much to manage the wind, and I suspect a lot of customers will option for an extended one. Starting to get a little bit more exciting now, though I'm trying to keep it a little bit sensible in this pretty slick weather. It's given me a lot of confidence the way this bike turns in, the way it feels in the corners. And the stoppers feel quite nice at the lever too. One of the things I've found about Suzuki models is while they're sort of conservative, they get the basic stuff right. They get their suspension right. They get their setup right. They get their fueling right. And so, yeah, look, it's missing a couple of features that you might get on other adventure bikes in the category, like, you know, cruise control, tubeless tyres. There's a reason why people trust the V-Strom moniker. There's a reason why they're as popular as they are. And that's because they do the basic stuff just right. Really impressed by the way this engine pulls. 78 Newton meters isn't a ton, but comes on just where you want it. Just something about the geometry of the thing just feels right. The seating position isn't dissimilar to the Yamaha Tenere 700, the Aprilia Touareg 660, sort of that big dirt bike feel, but it's not like one of those ones where you've got a real narrow sort of dirt bike style seat. It's a comfortable bike, plush, so you could certainly do big days touring, for sure. Some pretty roads now. And just imagine how good they'd be in the dry. And that's the last I'll mention of that. Only feeling better and better on this bike so far. It is very nicely suspended. I haven't messed around with any of the settings either. This up-down quick shifter is really something. It's got like a short throw, but it sort of feels stiff, so you know that you've changed gear. It's a sort of assertive thud without being agricultural. Yep, hats off. Nice little sort of single lane B road. Almost feels like we're in country England or something. The landscape is getting more and more pretty by the second. Of course, you'll know that this isn't far away from where they shot The Lord of the Rings. I've just stopped for a moment just to switch the bike to gravel mode. You can turn the traction control all the way off, but I want to try out this new mode because it supposedly allows for rear slide. Let's see how that goes. Oh yep, that rear wheel is yeah. So I think there is some traction control intervention, but I think you're pretty bloody sideways by the time that starts happening. So we've got some sort of muddy gravel. Not too slippery so far. We haven't got full dual sport knobbies like the Pirelli Scorpion STRs or something. We got the Dunlop Trail Maxes, but still very much capable on surfaces like this. Standing up, of course. Feel nice and central over the foot pegs. Remove the rubber inserts to give me a bit more grip on those. So early days, I know, but I have no problem confirming Suzuki's claim that this is the most off-road capable V-Strom. This is the sort of thing I think it's really built to do. You know, slick tracks like this, I have no doubt it could get up more complicated stuff, but it wouldn't be quite as at home. I'd say if the type of riding you do is, you know, 80% road, 20% dirt, I think this just about fits the bill perfectly there. Seems to be pretty good on the road as well. Better on the road than some of its rivals. Not quite as good on the dirt as some of its rivals possibly, but not far off. What I really like is the way this bike's suspended. I like the way the parallel twin performs, and that's important to note too, because the 650 V2s were great engines. Perhaps a bit long in the teeth, but the 650 V-Strom motor and the 1050 V-Strom motors are great things. And so this parallel twin needs to be pretty good too to live up to that. And I think it is. Ergos for me, they're a little bit of a personal thing, but just right. A good mix of road comfort and plenty of ability to climb around the thing on dirt like this. The negatives, well, they're all about spec that I can think of. I would have liked to see cruise control. It doesn't have to be standard, but maybe as an option. Maybe a bit more adjustability in that screen. And some tubeless tyres wouldn't do any harm either, because it's a bit of a pain in the arse to swap out tubes on these big adventure bikes. But look, none of those things come close to being deal breakers for me. And you're looking at a price tag of $18,590 right away. All new motorcycle prices have been going up. The COVID tax. And so, believe it or not, $18,590 is actually quite good value.
Well, that wraps up a wet and cold but wholly enjoyable little first taste with the V-Strom 800 DE. I'll be sure to grab one back in Australia for a more thorough test, but already there's a lot to like about this thing. I love the way the suspension's set up. You know, serious off-road guys might call for a bit more travel, a bit of a softer setup, but also by the same token, road guys might want something a bit stiffer, but I think it strikes a really fine balance, and I'm so pleased to report that the new parallel twin, it's a bit of a peach. It really does what you need it to do. So, with that said, let me know what you think about the new V-Strom. Does it do it for you? It hits showrooms in July from $18,590. Let me know what you think.